What's going on, Colts Nation? So the Colts lost today in dramatic fashion to the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 17-16. Colts at one point had a double-digit lead, a 10-point lead on Philadelphia going into the fourth quarter. Colts blow it, and they end up allowing an offensive touchdown for the Philadelphia Eagles. Only one of two they did allow today. Philadelphia scores 17. The offense, Matt, just horrendous once again. Just looks terrible. Doesn't look like they know what they're doing. The offensive line, especially the second, the two last drives really starts to cave in on itself. Just basically the same stuff we've seen from this offense. Self-inflicted penalties, self-inflicted things they do. When they start moving the ball, they turn it over or they get a penalty, and it just completely derails the drive. It's more of the same, unfortunately, Matt, with this offense. It's you have those couple games where you're like, oh, this offense actually looks like, against the Raiders, like, oh, maybe they have something. And then they just go and they screw themselves over again. And I felt like in this game, Matt, I felt like the defense did enough to win you this game. I mean, you hold Philadelphia to under 20 points. You do your thing. Obviously, that last drive was not great from the defense, but the defense gave this offense, Matt, multiple opportunities in this game from around midfield to go and do something. The offense gave them 6 points in return. Like, that's not sustainable. That's awful offense. And it's very clear the reason why the Colts have 4 wins is because of the defense.
Yeah, I agree. And with this game, it was like a tale of two halves for the offense because the first half, I thought the offense looked pretty good. Jonathan Taylor had 64 yards rushing in the first half. They were doing what they needed to do to beat Philadelphia. Yeah, I would have liked to see more points, but look, you held Philadelphia to 3 points. I'm fine if you're up 10-3 in the first half. But the second half, it was really just you missed a lot of opportunities in this game. I mean, the defense put them in really good spots multiple times. I believe they were inside the 30, maybe even the 20, the start of drive, and they couldn't get in the end zone.
Yep.
Look, I mean, you can't win with, 1 touchdown and 3 field goals, especially against Philadelphia. Like you said, defense played great. Defense played good enough to where they should have won. Anytime your defense can hold a team under 20 points, that is a game you should win. But offensive line, thought they played pretty solid in the first half, struggled in the second half. Taylor couldn't do much because of the offensive line. Matt Ryan had no sacks in the first half. Then he went to being sacked 4 times in the second half. So it's just missed opportunities. Ryman, Will Fries, they're young, but still you can't have some of those penalties, especially Will Fries. But yeah, it was a game of missed opportunities, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, this team, like I even said it in the live stream, like this team should have been destroying Philadelphia, if they had a halfway competent offense. Like their defense was literally gifting them, like, multiple opportunities in this game. Like the first drive of this defense comes out in the second half. They strip sack the quarterback. They strip sack Jalen Hurts. They get a turnover.
Yeah.
What's the offense do? Absolutely nothing with it. They were within the red zone almost, and their offense came away with 3 points out of all that. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like that's like getting historically bad, Matt, when you can't even move the ball that much, and I felt like for the most part, this is the sad thing. I felt like for the most part, the receivers did what they needed to do when they given the opportunities, right?
Yeah.
I like what Pittman did. I liked Pierce when he had a couple opportunities. Paris Campbell obviously had some nice plays. Kylan Granson had some nice plays. Like, it's just like situationally, like this offense has talent. That's not the question. It's just situationally, this offense is so bad, so horrendous. It was almost like clockwork, Matt, where like this offense will get a good drive going, and you're like, how are they gonna screw it up this drive? Like that's where it came to. And people were saying in the first half, Cody, why are you dogging this offense so much? We're up by 10. And I'm like, because we should be up by 30. That's how bad this offense is playing right now.
Yeah.
And it just continues to hinder this team. You think about, Matt, how good the defense has played in multiple games this year. If this offense was halfway competent, this team probably would have 6 to 7 wins. Like, honestly, if this offense was competent. But they're not. They're situationally, they're the worst. Like, they're just so bad.
Yeah.
And it's coming to the point where, like, it doesn't matter if you have, good to great defensive play. If your offense is so bad, you're still going to lose games, right?
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, that's where we're at with this team right now is like, a good to great defense and a horrible, bottom lead, a tank offense right now with how bad they are. And it's just so sad and so crazy how completely polar opposite both of these units are.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like the defense, you can win with this defense. Like, this is a defense that you can win 10 games or more with. It's just the offense, it's like, for whatever reason, they can't take advantage of the opportunities that they get. I mean, heck, yeah, that great pass by Matt Ryan to Paris Campbell, got him inside the 5, got 3 points.
Yeah.
Like, and look, I blame the offensive line because Taylor had nowhere to go on some of those runs. But and that one play that they did where Matt Ryan faked it to one guy, faked it to another guy, and it went to throw. I like that play. That if you would have had good blocking there, that probably goes in. Like, he probably gets 7 points there. But it's just it happens all year long. It's the offensive line. They have issues. And they're playing better, sure, but they still didn't play great in the second half. But offensive line's not playing great, and you're missing out on opportunities. You have to take advantage. You can't go for field goals. You have to get touchdowns. I know Chase McLaughlin missed a field goal, but I don't put the game on him. You know, that it's not on him. He missed one kick, made the rest. It's on the offense.
And I will say, I'm not going to absolve Matt Ryan from the blame. I think he deserves a big amount of blame here, too. I know he had some nice throws, but Matt,
Mhm.
he took 2 sacks in this game that he should have never taken. What
Right.
the heck is rolling out on, in the goal line and losing 10 yards? Like, what the heck is that? Like, he for whatever reason, and it's so baffling because you're like, this guy's like a 10 plus year vet. You think he would learn this by now. He
Mhm.
holds on to the ball too long and he doesn't just throw it away, live to fight another down. That's
Yeah.
happened multiple times this year. And the Colts are fortunate he didn't fumble it like he has all year. But like that's just so unnecessary, like to do that kind of crap. And he missed some throws too. Like there were some throws you're just like, where in the world was he going with that pass? I
Yeah.
get it. Part of that I will blame on the offensive line,
Mhm.
but Matt Ryan got himself sacked a couple times too. So like it goes from the offensive line and the quarterback, and also Jonathan Taylor. What the heck with that fumble, man? Like
Yeah.
it's just like these
And
situationally doing really stupid things and like screwing your offense over. Like your offense
yeah.
starts to get in a rhythm and then you do something dumb and it just sets you back again.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost comical at this point. It's so
Right.
sad that this
And
offense just keeps doing
yeah.
this. It's like rinse repeat at this point.
Yeah, and it's like with Jonathan Taylor. I wasn't upset at Taylor because I should have been blown dead. That play should have been
Absolutely.
blown dead. The fact they let it go on as long as they did, that doesn't happen. Like, I've never seen it go that long. Like, they'll let them push a little bit, but eventually they call it. It should have been blown dead there. So yeah, Taylor phoned the ball, should have held on to it, but play also should have been blown dead. So that I wasn't upset at Taylor for that. And then with Matt Ryan, I thought he played solid. If I'm gonna be honest, I thought he was solid. He, like you said, he made some bad decisions, wasn't great, but he also made good decisions too. So he's kind of solid. I have him right in the middle. It's just my opinion on him. Still had a decent day yard wise. Had what 9 incompletions in the game. So like he played solid, but still, you know, you can't expect him to be like, Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen when you have an offensive line like that. Like he's not going to be able to move around. He's a little too old to do that. He's not going to get those 39-yard runs all the time. You got to protect him. If you protect him, he's shown he can make plays. Sometimes he won't, but still, I thought he was solid. But yeah, should have been better.
I do also put blame on the play calling too, because there's multiple opportunities in that
Mm,
first half. Like there's a 3rd down and 1. You're just off a drive where you literally ran Taylor like 7 times and you were effective. And 3rd
yeah,
down and 1, you pass it, and then you're off the field, and that kills your momentum. Like stuff like
yeah,
that. And then there's times where it was like I think it was the next drive. I think it was 3rd and 11. You're not even trying to get that first down.
right.
Like you're just what was with all the passes behind the line of scrimmage today? Like they're not
Mm,
trying to push it down the field. And I felt like when they tried, they had some decent success with it. So it's just weird that they were trying to do all these things, and a good majority of the time they really didn't get a lot of yardage from it.
yeah, I thought some of the play calling wasn't great either. I'm fine with them being conservative. So I thought the 3rd and 11, it was like, look, you take what you can get there. I'm just glad Matt Ryan didn't try to force something. So, um, yeah, like I wasn't angry about that. I wish you would have went for a first down, but you got to take what you get there. But yeah, there's some play calling I didn't agree with. There was some third and short situation I didn't agree with because you could have ran it with either Taylor, Deion Jackson, and if you don't get on that third one and it's 4th and inches, hopefully it's 4th and inches. You do a QB sneak, and then hopefully you get the first down there.
Right. It's like you did it. It was weird because that first drive that they had, I was like, they weren't fooling around. They just
Right.
decided we're going to dominate, and it
Mhm.
kind of felt like they went away from that in some ways because Taylor obviously
Yeah.
had most of his yardage on that first drive. And then they kind of,
Yeah.
I know they couldn't really establish it as well,
Mhm.
but like they kind of went away from him after that, and I wish they would have
Yeah.
just kept sticking with what was working, offensively
Mhm.
and just keep it going, keep it rolling until you absolutely can't anymore. But yeah, the offensive line certainly took a step back in the second half
Yeah.
when it came to run blocking. Taylor was consistently getting hit at the line, and that second half had a couple nice runs.
Mhm.
Yeah, all in all, it's crazy that he had nearly 50 yards in that first drive and then literally didn't
Yeah.
finish with 100. Like, that's just crazy to me that they
Yeah.
didn't run him more. Yeah, it's just a weird game from this team, and it's just like I've said this before, Matt. I think this team right now, unfortunately, it's not a team that wants to win. It seems like a team that finds all the ways to lose. Like good teams find ways to win. This team is
Yeah.
not that. Like I think we can say that firmly. Um, yeah, it's just unfortunate because, like you said, I feel like there's some tweaks that this team could make, maybe like this
Mhm.
next offseason, and they could be a playoff team. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like this team is devoid of talent. This isn't the 2017 Colts, guys. Like,
Yeah.
this is a team that we know has talent, and it's just unfortunate that, like, just in key situations, they're just really bad, you know?
Yeah.
And,
It's
like, the
like
little things they don't do well.
Yeah, it's like for me, I think you got to get a right guard in the draft. There's a kid from USC, there's Jarrett Patterson, who I would like to get to fill in there. You got to get a right guard situation played out. I think maybe another pass catcher would be nice to add too if you can get like a Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is very talented. Maybe Josh Downs if he is in the second round. Um, get somebody like that. And then depending on what Matt Ryan looks like, if he's going to retire and be done, try to get one of those top quarterbacks. If you can't, then you might want to go after a developmental guy, whether it's a Cam Ward or someone else. Like, there's things they can do, and they could be a playoff team. I don't know, maybe if their car gets released, they sign him to a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal, something
Mm.
not crazy financially, and they draft a developmental guy if they can't get those top 3 quarterbacks.
I
That
just
that
think
I'm
Yeah, I just think you have to. You can't almost watch these games, and I know the quarterback's not all at fault, but
Yeah.
like you got to get a guy that can just make unscripted plays. Like Matt Ryan
Mhm.
just can't do that,
Right.
and I just think it's almost like I don't care what it takes. If you fall in love with one of these prospects, you go get him and you ride with them.
Yeah.
Like you can't just keep like relying on, in my opinion, developmental guys. I'm ready to
Yeah.
get a guy that's more of the sure thing. Again, nobody is. But like at this point, there's too many good quarterbacks for you to sit on your hands and do nothing and
Yeah.
roll with a 38-year-old quarterback with no backup plan. Like that's just
Right.
unacceptable to me.
And the reason why I said developmental guy is because I don't think they're going to be able to get C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young because I think Houston's going to land in top 2. There's no way they're trading to the Colts, especially when you have quarterbacks like that in this draft. And then you're probably going to get a Carolina, somebody like that at that number 2 spot. And it might cost a lot to trade with another team or even the Raiders. The Raiders are another team that could take a quarterback at 2. So that's why I'm saying maybe a developmental guy because I'm not big on Will Levis, if I'm going to be honest. And if the guy doesn't look like he could be something, then you got next year's draft class, you
Right.
know. But
Yeah, I want to have some sort of guy that you're looking towards the future. This team has not
I
looked
agree.
towards the
I do
future
too.
for way too long, and it's kind of getting ridiculous at this point how much they've kind of
Right.
just kind of band-aided it too much, kicked the can down the road. Well, the
Right.
road's ending, man, and it's time to start a new path, with a new quarterback. That's kind of what I look at it as. And, like at this point, I look at it like you can't do much worse offensively. So why not give a young guy a shot? A guy that you believe in
Right.
his talent and you think he's going to get better as he plays. That's
Mhm.
where I'm at with this team is like we already know what Matt Ryan is. If you keep him around for another year, okay. but I almost think you have to have a guy you can turn to if it continues to look the way it has offensively.
Right, and I agree with you there too, like, that's what I want. I just don't think they're gonna get that franchise guy unless they pick somebody up that maybe could become that guy the following year. But it's gonna be a lot, so that's why I think maybe you get a guy, let's say Matt Ryan retires, maybe you get a guy like Derek Carr, someone that, can make plays, and you improve that offensive line. Like, Derek Carr, I feel like he's underrated, personally. I don't think he's like a top 5, top 10 quarterback, but I think he's good enough to where you can win with him. So maybe you get him, assuming Matt Ryan retires and you can't get one of those top 2 quarterbacks, and then if you get a developmental guy and that guy doesn't work out, like I said, next year, there's some guys in the 2024 class. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you, Dove. They got to get that guy soon. We can't keep relying on leftovers,
Yeah.
but
No, you
we just
can't.
might have to.
You can't. You have to. And I personally, Matt, I've come to the point where I don't care what it costs. And maybe that's a
Mm,
little extreme, but like if you find your franchise guy, I don't care if you give away 5 first-round picks. Like if he's your guy, you roll with it. You go for it. And
yeah,
at this point, I am fine with doing whatever it takes to get your guy. Like that's
right.
to the point where I'm at with this quarterback situation. And also like this team has money. They have other things, other ways to get pieces. But quarterbacks,
Yeah,
that's one where I'm like, if you whatever you do, if you really find your guy,
yeah,
you can always find guys later in the draft. Like quarterbacks, one that it's a lot harder to hit on, obviously, than a lot of other
yeah.
positions. So I'm like, if that means trading away some other guys that are good players but aren't as pivotal players, like I'm down for it. At this point, this
Mhm,
offense needs a spark. It's very clear they need something.
yeah.
They need something
I agree.
different. And I
I
think
agree.
that's what we got to do, man. Because this offense is
Yeah,
boring. It's kind of pathetic, and and it's sad because there's talent on it. There's young
yeah.
talent on it.
Mhm.
So I think if you pair somebody with that, I'm good with whatever it takes to get the guy. I guess.
Yeah. I just think I think the only way they can do it is either they trade 3, 4 first round picks or they trade, a few good players plus a first round pick or 2. That's the only way I can see it happening. Do you take that risk? Because what if it doesn't work out? That's something you got to look at too. And I don't know. Maybe they fall in love with the guy and he's not who we think it is. But I agree. We got to eventually get that guy. We
But
can't
like,
keep
yeah, you can't
taking.
be if you fall in love with a guy, you got to stick by that conviction. That's where
Right.
I'm at. Like, you got to just believe. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But like,
True.
at least you're telling your fans you care about the future. I guess
Right.
that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that. It's gonna take a lot, but hey, if there's a guy, I guess go after him. It just I don't I don't know. I'm very conservative with my first round picks. I'm okay trading like 2, but once you get to like 3 or 4, I start getting the whole Russell Wilson trade vibes where it's like, oh, Denver trade for Russell Wilson and they don't have a first round pick for a few years. Seattle's probably going to have top 10 picks for a few years. That's like what worries me. But I agree. We have to get that guy eventually because there are pieces on this offense. You get that one pass catcher, you improve that offensive line a little more, you get the quarterback situation figured out. You can win with that.
and he's going
Um,
to be cheap. Like it's not like you're going to be
yeah,
paying him what you're paying Russell Wilson.
yeah,
He's going to be on his rookie deal for at least 4 years. So like you're
yeah,
going to have that opportunity to build around him, which I think
yeah.
is something. And like depending what happens with the Matt Ryan contract, that could even be more money that you'd have eventually.
Right.
So that's where I'm at. Like do what some of these teams have done. Do what like Chicago's doing, for example. Like
Yeah,
or whoever it would be. Maybe Chicago's a bad example. These teams with young quarterbacks, they're trying to put pieces around these guys to win, and seeing
right.
what they have. So that's kind of where I am with this. But yeah, there's not much, you guys will notice there's not much to say about this game because it's very much the
No,
same thing. I just feel bad for this defense because they've done what they
me too.
needed to do. And like you said, I think they're a defense you can definitely win with. And they
Mhm.
played out of their minds today, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And the fact that they did what they did, I mean, if you can keep this defense around and get a spark offensively, like maybe this next year, I mean, this team, yeah, could be a playoff team. I really do believe that. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But guys, that'll do it for our kind of recap and other things talking about this team's future moving
yeah,
forward. We'll see, man, where this record, what the Colts record is after this, and these next couple games are going to be some tough games. There's going to be definitely some winnable games, so we'll see where they're at. I was definitely encouraged that the Colts were in this game and they were up by double digits at one point. This shows me that the talent isn't in question here. It's just there's some lack of execution going on with the players. So, yeah, I think that'll do it for this one. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.
What's going on, everybody? Today, I want to talk to you about our sponsor, Betstamp. Now, I know what you're thinking. Derek, another betting app? What is so different about this one now? Well, I got to tell you guys, I'm not into online gambling a whole lot and bets online and everything, but I got to tell you, Betstamp is one of the coolest things I have ever seen in regards to betting online. The great thing about Betstamp is it allows you to see all the different odds from all different sports books and see which one provides you the best odds possible for any game or scenario you want to bet on for your pick versus some of the worst. Betstamp allows you to also buy and sell picks that you have without worrying about losing your money or having any issues with it. Believe me, it's all free. I mean, look at this, guys. You have an option for every game across all different kinds of leagues in a ton of different ways. You have baseball, you have college football, UFC, NBA, and NFL. Great for the NFL season now being here. And if I wanted to bet on this Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills game, it shows me in real time what are the best odds, which sports book I'm going to get the best offer from versus some of the worst ones. Because why would you want to earn less money from PointsBet when you could be winning more from ProLine Plus? Again, a great thing that Betstamp offers you, allowing you to make more money for the same pick just with a different sports book. How easy is that? And the great thing is there's not just games. There's player props. There's game props. There's lines. There's live tracking. There's a ton of great ways to make bets and picks on Betstamp, guys. Totally a cool thing to use. I highly encourage you check it out if you're into any kind of online betting. Even if you're not, give it a check. See what you like about it, because I think I actually enjoy using it. But the best way to get an edge on online sports betting is having multiple accounts at different sports books. Be sure to hit the BetLink page, betstamp.app/onboarding. Be sure to check out the Betstamp app or online, and be sure to use the referral code JUICE, plug in your state, and you'll get access to all their affiliates and their prices once you open it up, seeing all states' lines. Be sure to check this out, guys. You won't want to miss it for the best odds on your next sports bet.